Good evening. Let's try that again. Good evening. I'm so delighted to see you here tonight and to welcome you to Celebrating Local Heroes with the Concert Truck. I'm David Cutler, the Director of Music Entrepreneurship at the great University of South Carolina. And we have an incredible evening to celebrate incredible neighbors for you just coming right up. And we're going to start it off with Nick and Susan and the Concert Truck. As COVID-19 forced communities to shut down, some neighbors suddenly found themselves on the front lines of a public health disaster. Whether out of necessity or a sense of duty, these essential workers kept showing up, despite often little recognition and great personal peril. To recognize these champions and their industries, the University of South Carolina School of Music is spearheading Celebrating Local Heroes with the concert truck. Our hope is to pay tribute while providing a better understanding of their circumstances, sacrifice, and courage. This project involves 10 heroes, 10 musical ensembles, 10 composers, and a concert truck. We begin with hero interviews, seeking to learn about their work and life, challenges faced, moments of triumph, and thoughts on the future. Ultimately, each of these will be boiled down to a 2 to 3 minute vignette video to be scored by our composers and recorded by the assigned ensemble. We'll also schedule 10 outdoor concerts, each at locations meaningful to one of the heroes, featuring 3 musical acts, speakers, and a premiere showing of the vignette video. The culminating event weaves together all 10 heroes, our university president, and more, emphasizing that we are all in this together. Performances take place aboard the concert truck, a mobile venue that fosters a more inclusive, empathetic world by redefining the modern concert hall. The concert truck is an entrepreneurial initiative dreamed up by 2 U of SC alum when they were still students. Our hope is that the concert truck community heroes helps us better empathize with neighbors while leveraging the power of music to celebrate our community.
It's our great pleasure to be able to do this for the university community on the historic horseshoe. I have to tell you, I don't know that anyone associated with the university has ever stood on the horseshoe at this angle and had a chance to see it, but everyone should take the opportunity to do this, because if you love this place, you really love this view. I mean, it's just absolutely breathtaking. My name is Taylor Harding, and I have the great privilege of being the Dean of the School of Music here at the University of South Carolina. I just want to say a word about Celebrate Local Heroes with the concert truck. Last summer, when all of the faculties and all of the colleges and all of the administrative units on the campus were meeting to figure out how they would bring their fall off, how we would live in the environment that we were faced with coming on August 16th. The music faculty and staff and student leadership were doing that too, but they were also thinking about what we might do, because we're lucky enough to work in the world of music, that could take us beyond the emergency of COVID. What could we do to do what was necessary to keep our community safe from the perspective of their own emotional health and their own well-being? And how could we leverage the power of music to do that? And what we came up with was something called the Bridging Our Distances Initiative. The Bridging Our Distances Initiative is made up of 4 distances that we feel like we needed to bridge and could do it with music in a way that nothing else could. The first of those was and continues to be uniting communities through the isolation of the pandemic. And our very first Unite Communities event as a part of Bridging Our Distances was right here on the historic horseshoe at the beginning of October. Many of you might have been here that night. We had musicians walking all over the grass, playing the amazing 10,000 Birds while people walked around them, socially distanced and masked. Most of those people hadn't seen each other in 6 months. Very, very emotional and special evening began uniting communities. The second of our distances to bridge was inspired by the great civil and social unrest that came to a head last May and occupied all of us all summer. And we decided to call that Amplifying Voices, and that we would commit ourselves through the pandemic and beyond to programming more music by the voices that are largely underheard, underrepresented, or undervalued. And we have done that, and during the Celebrate Local Heroes with the concert truck all week, we've done lots and lots of amplifying voices with respect to the music and the artists that we've presented. Another of the bridges that were very important to build to a distance, the distance of our future. What will we look like on the other side of COVID? We can't not be concerned. Our president was telling us all the time, we have to be concerned financially about our health, about the health of our great institution after COVID, during COVID. And we took that to heart in the music school and decided we had to plan for our future post-COVID right in the middle of the pandemic. And so we call that Spurring Our Future, and we've built a whole lot of events around what tomorrow looks like as a result of being in the music school and working at this great institution. And then the final of the bridges, the final distances we wish to bridge is this one right here, Celebrating Heroes. This is our major Celebrating Heroes event, and we hope to have some more. This one is about celebrating local heroes who put their lives on the line, both from the standpoint of their own health, but through their own resiliency and their own commitment and devotion to what they do to make our world work at a time that our world simply wasn't working. And to this day, they are still doing it. and 10 of them are sitting right here with us tonight. They've been honored all week with concerts in their location on this amazing truck, prepared by students who played music for these concerts and for the soundtracks that made up videos that each of them had made for them. Music written by student and alumni composers that those musicians played that make up the soundtrack of each of those videos, each about 2 to 3 minutes. You've seen portions of them removed for the video you saw a second ago, and there's more video to come. Culminating in this special event tonight, where we wanted to celebrate our institution as well as our local heroes by bringing them all together for the first time, all 10 of them in the same place, and have the president recognize them as a part of bridging our distances, uniting communities, celebrating heroes, amplifying voices, and spurring our future. We have any number of millions of people to thank to pull this off. I could go on and on about thanking, and I made a long list today and realized I couldn't hit them all. But certainly at the top of the list are the people who made sure that this initiative came off from conception to reality, and David Cutler is the top of that list, the director of the Celebrate Local Heroes Project, Claire Bryant, who's here, who directs our Bridging Our Distances initiative, Rachel Calloway is the head of our Spark Music Collective and our the Spark Music Leadership Laboratory, and then Jeff Francis and Mike LaRoche and their team, who are the crew here. Nick and Susan, who as doctoral students dreamed up the concert truck on this campus, working with David Cutler, and then went out into the world and made their dream reality and are taking this truck all over the country, playing concerts everywhere. And then all of the students and all the faculty that are performing and are a part of this great institution. So with that, I'm going to be quiet now, and I think Jennifer is coming back out to play a little bit more. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Thank you.
I've been a nurse for 25 years, and in my studies, I've read about epidemics and pandemics. And through television, we've all watched them unfold in various locations across the globe. But nothing prepared me for the day when we accepted our first COVID-19 patient at my hospital. The world as we knew it was changed forever. While there were many who were impacted and many who engaged in the battle that was before us, but there was none like the nurse. Over the years, nurses have been called by many names: angel, advocate, comforter. But in the midst of the pandemic, our roles changed and we became more than caregivers. We were named family because many times we had to stand in the gap between loved ones and their patients. We were named ministers because we often offered prayers to those whose faith was in need of restoration. We were named messengers as we communicated updates to families who were anxiously waiting at home. We were named interpreters because we learned an entirely new language. We learned how to use our words to provide comfort and reassurance to families who could not see us in person. But most of all, we learned resilience. We learned that adaptation and sacrifice were our new badges of honor. When everyone else was told to stay home, nurses worked more hours than imagined humanly possible. When many were making TikToks with their kids and complaining about the woes of homeschooling or how much they were enjoying their newly found family time, we were in our break rooms consoling one another because of the tragic loss of another patient. While some were out fighting over toilet paper, we were recycling and repurposing PPE. While many were finding new recipes to try out at home, we were learning how to administer the latest life-saving medications and treatments. Yet, through it all, and despite great personal risk to ourselves and our families, with bruises from masks and exhausted bodies, without fail, we continued to answer the call. We continued to fight the good fight, to celebrate our victories and to mourn our losses. And the losses, they were many. And our hearts became heavy and sorrowful. But never did we lose hope. Never did we waver. We rose. We met and overcame every challenge that was laid before us. And you know what? In the process, we earned a new name, Heroes. Because we demonstrated great courage in the face of overwhelming adversity. The sacrifices made is not something that can ever be repaid or even fully understood. The lost time with our families, the loss of our fellow team members, or the emotional scars that will be left with us for years to come. But that's okay, because that's not why we do what we do. We don't do it for accolades or for praise. We do it because it is our calling, it is our passion, and we consider it an honor to serve. Thank you.
It has been an inspiring and an emotional week aboard the concert truck. That was Thursday afternoon. And just could I ask Michelle Logan Owens to stand. Just incredible, so inspiring. There was a moment at each of our 10 concerts of the last 5 days. There was a moment where I felt this brief clarity. I finally got it. This is the most important group of heroes. Like after I heard Michelle's talk, I knew nurses were the ones who really got us through this incredibly difficult moment. Except then I'd start thinking back to the concert we had just performed, or forward to the one that was coming up. And it became so clear that each of us has an essential role to play in this game of life and community. At one of the other concerts, there were so many together. It was on Thursday, maybe also on Thursday. One of our heroes sitting here in the front row, Tim Glenn, told us a story. He works for Expo Logistics. And he said, you know when you're driving down the freeway and all of a sudden there's that big truck that gets in your way and it's just going so slow and you get a little annoyed, right? Because you have things to do with your life. What right does that person have to be taking up your space and creating this negative energy in your life? Tim said, that driver, that's me. And I'm delivering toilet paper to your local supermarket. And we all laughed uncomfortably because we knew he was right. But Tim told only part of that story, which is that when it was at that supermarket, a clerk sold it to a restaurateur. Then a janitor, a custodian, installed it in a bathroom, concerned with impeccable cleanliness. Then a teacher came in who was teaching my kids, or maybe yours, and had a moment to reflect. But if that teacher gets sick, whether because of this damn virus or something else, they will be rescued by an EMT, brought to a hospital to be served by a nurse in collaboration with a doctor, cared for by a mental health care physician. And at the end of it all, to make sense of everything that has happened, we need an artist to show us the way. We are all in this together. And I am so proud to be a community member in a place like Columbia, South Carolina, that is filled with superheroes like all of you here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here tonight for this incredible celebration of our community. My name is Nick. That was my partner Susan. We're the co-creators of the concert truck and proud University of South Carolina alumni. And thank you. It is a huge privilege to be here tonight to honor and to celebrate 10 individuals from our community who have shown incredible strength, courage, kindness, and leadership in a tremendously difficult time during this COVID-19 pandemic. And for the last week, we have been able to meet and perform for all of them. And it has been amazing getting to know all of you just a little bit and seeing your personalities in real life and the faces behind the interviewees. And so it is our privilege now to introduce them all to you.
My name's Tim Glenn, delivery sales rep for XPO Logistics.
Dr. Brenna Brucker, emergency medicine doctor at Lexington Medical Center.
I'm Michaela Pilar Brown. I'm the interim executive director of the 701 Center for Contemporary Art.
Denise Chi, program coordinator for NAMI South Carolina.
Hi, I'm Greg Padgett, team member at Small Sugar and Il Focolare.
Kaitlin Dia, community manager here in the Lowe's Foods of Columbia.
Edward Langford, I'm an environmental tech at Still Hopes.
Lisa Rayner, and I'm the music teacher here at Pontiac Elementary School.
Andrew Fowler, and I'm a senior paramedic with Richmond County EMS.
Maria Helena Tupas, I'm the nurse manager for Prisma Health.
Business definitely took a hit once COVID started, but we've done a great job of finding ways around COVID and somehow still giving back to the community, which is one of our main things that we pride ourselves on.
We've had to get real creative about how we're reaching out to our communities.
Having to wear masks, and we're a lot more vigilant about our personal protective equipment. It also has changed because the decontamination process after the fact, just so we can make sure the back of the truck is clean and as disinfected as possible in between patients.
A lot of things have changed since COVID, in the classrooms especially. Number one, I don't have a music classroom right now. I'm having to travel in a cart into all the classrooms that are here on campus. And we also have students who've chosen to stay home and do e-learning. So I also have classes that I teach entirely online.
We knew that a lot of kids were going to be out of school and parents weren't able to work, so we thought we could maybe lighten up the burden on them just a little bit and making dinner for them every night. We put together well over, I want to say 10,000 family meals and gave them to underprivileged areas throughout the community.
Well, after Thanksgiving until Christmas Day, I do work as Santa Claus. I had a face shield I put on. You got to see the smile on Santa's face when he's holding your child.
The biggest challenge that I found is trying to make people understand that they need to abide by the regulations.
701 Center for Contemporary Art was able to shift their funding to support artists directly affected by the pandemic. So we had a series of workshops and residencies over the summer that funded local artists who were directly impacted by COVID.
It's been a lot more nights, a lot more weekends. We've been working extra shifts. So it's been really hard on us all and on our families. But it's been really great seeing the support from the community.
Most of our presentations were in person. And when COVID hit, we had to move to the Zoom platform, the online platform, which was a challenge for most of us, especially myself, because technology is not one of my strong suits.
Surprisingly, we do still have a lot of our regulars come in. They've been great about wearing their masks and wiping the carts down, bringing their own bags in, and really cooperative.
My colleagues here are on top of their game. They're extra cautious on the PPE, the personal protection that they wear and that we wear here. And I think they do a fantastic job.
This particular year was a personal challenge for me in general. My mother died at the beginning of the pandemic. Additionally, no one was gathering. So we didn't have any kind of public memorial or celebration of her life.
I've got a 3-year-old and about a 5-month-old at home, so we actually had a baby in the middle of the pandemic.
I got infected with COVID. It made me truly understand what it feels like to become a patient with COVID. There is the loneliness because you are by yourself. It made me understand what families would feel, how the patient would feel.
Personally, I'm a person of high risk, so I've had to limit, I'm not in my church choir right now, and that's been very difficult. I have 2 young nieces and a young nephew that I've not been able to visit in a year.
I'm diagnosed. I'm living with a mental health condition as well as my daughter. When COVID hit, a lot of people that I know, including myself and my daughter, our mental health kind of took a turn for the worse because of the stressors and the changes that we had to go through.
It's been a lot more difficult since COVID. It's been a challenge for me sometimes after those hard days where there's been a lot of emotional challenges, not bringing those home too much.
I think if there's one thing I can tell the public, definitely is to make sure you're wearing your mask.
Pay more attention to your mental health and seek help if you're noticing any of these any warning signs.
I would go out and tell people is take time and effort to invest in yourself and just enjoy what you're doing, embrace this moment and be creative.
Just to be kind, because at the end of the day, anyone that's working in an essential field, even if it's be it grocery or the medical field.
Support artists. They need you now more than ever. Buy art, buy programming online, attend programming online.
Just keep a lookout for when a vaccine becomes available in your area.
Wear the mask. If you have to go somewhere, wear the mask. Keep your hands sanitized.
Hand washing, everywhere I go, I see, got the hand sanitizer.
Take a breather and be kind to each other. I don't know what you may be going through. You don't know what I may be going through. Just a smile and a kind word to somebody, it might make their day.
Well, welcome everybody. My name is Bob Cass and I'm the president of the University of South Carolina. Honored to be here this evening, and I'd like to extend a big Gamecock welcome to all of you. This is really a special evening, and the more I'm here and to watch those videos and to celebrate these heroes, to what they have done this past year is just amazing. I do want to give a special thanks to Dave Cutler. Dave, thank you very much for your leadership along with your team, Claire, Rachel, Jeff, and whoever else I forget, I apologize, but what an incredible evening you're putting together for us. And Dean Taylor Harding, thank you, sir, for organizing this. Yeah, I don't know if this was your great idea or not, but the 4 bridges that you talked about was just really phenomenal, and I really want to say thanks a lot. And to the entire music school to put on this great celebration with music so that we can really touch the heartstrings as we all feel what we all have gone through this past year. So would you please join me in a round of applause for our music school? What a great job. So Nick and Susan, not only are you incredible piano players, that's unbelievable, magnificent, but the whole idea of the concert truck, pulling this thing together is just really phenomenal. The initiative and innovative thinking that went into this, and the power of music is so powerful, and in a pandemic, instead of bringing people to the music, to the idea of bringing music to the people is just really insurmountable. So thanks Nick and Susan for what you've done. So it's just been about a year. I don't know what you've been thinking over this past year. I don't know where you were a year ago when all of a sudden you got word that we're going to close. Actually, we're going to extend spring break by 2 weeks, and then we're going to extend spring break to the end of the semester and then through the summer, and then it just went on, and then we made the big decision. It was easy to close. It was even harder to reopen and to make that particular decision. But certainly the pandemic has impacted all of us in so many different ways, and so many lives have been changed. And I always thought that someone is really at their best in adversity. Sometimes they're really challenged, but when you're in that crucible, and as iron sharpens iron, the best starts to show in each and every single one of us. That's certainly the case with what we're experiencing and what we're celebrating this evening. One thing that I've also learned in this pandemic is there's no way that any of us can go through this individually. All of us, or many of us, have been in quarantine or in some sort of isolation in some capacity, and that's painful. That's no one wants to do that. And when you lose the ability to reach out and to touch and to have contact, it really has an impact on us, not only physically, but also emotionally and even with our mental health. You know, so we've all learned and we've all gone through this, and we realize that if we're going to get through this, we're going to get through it together. And this is certainly a way to be able to do that. And because of that, all of us know somebody throughout this past year that has stood out for us in one way or another. Maybe it was that little voice of encouragement. Maybe it was watching those frontline nurses that have put themselves in harm's way again and again, Michelle, like you so eloquently said. Maybe it's someone out there that you know, said, okay, we're going to make this happen no matter what. And because of their own fierce determination, you know, we said we're going to make it happen, and we're going to do it, and we're going to do it safely. And maybe it's just that little whisper that someone had said to you that has made a difference for you and for so many other people. But I'll tell you what, the 10 people that we're going to recognize this evening are 10 great men and women who have made the difference in so many lives, and it's just an honor and a privilege to be able to celebrate them this evening. So it's my honor tonight to recognize these exceptional community heroes and to present them with the President's Coin of Excellence. So ladies and gentlemen, as I call your name, can you please come up to the front to my left over here, and we'll line right up over here, and just stay there till I finish all the names, and then we'll take a photo afterwards. And what I'll do is once you get up here, I'll finish announcing everybody, and then I'll join you down there and present the President's coin. By the way, the Coin of Excellence is just a simple token of appreciation that when you live a life of excellence, you go above and beyond. You go into areas you're unfamiliar and uncomfortable with, knowing that there's great risk in doing that. But that's when growth occurs. That's when challenges are overcome, and that's where excellence is born. So we just want to take an opportunity to recognize you with this Coin of Excellence. And it says, for excellence presented by the President, with the Gamecock C on the front, and in the back it's got the university seal with our motto that says, learning humanizes character and does not permit it to be cruel. Now, I got to tell you all, this is a challenge coin, so you know the tradition of a challenge coin. Quite simply, you got to have it with you at all times, so that if I see you and I say, hey, where's your coin, you got 5 seconds to produce it. And if you don't produce it, then I win, you lose, and you owe me a beer. But if you do produce it, you win and I lose and I owe you a beer, but we get a beer either way, so that's a good deal. So seriously, as soon as I call your name, come on, let's give a round of applause for each and every one of them. They deserve it. And we'll bring you up here, and then I'll come down there and present the coin, and we'll take a photo, and then we'll wrap it up with the choir. So first, representing the custodial staff workers, Edward Langford from Still Hope's Retirement Community. Representing mental health specialist Denise Chi from the National Alliance on Mental Health. Denise. Oh, don't we all want to get back to a restaurant? Representing restaurant employees, Greg Padgett from Small Sugar. Come on up, Greg. Now, these I admire more than any. I admire everybody, but these are the ones that have put themselves in harm's way day after day, and some of them have caught the virus, as you had seen. But representing our nurses, Maria Helena Tupas from Prisma Health. Come on up, Maria. And these people were there. And you want to know what dependable, loyal people are? Just take a look at representing our delivery drivers who are here all the time. You saw the little video there just a little while ago. Tim Glenn from Expo Logistics. Come on up, Tim. Representing emergency room doctors. I bet they can tell us a few stories. Brenna Brucker from Lexington Medical Center. And how about our incredible teachers that we threw the pivot where all of a sudden they all had to go online, not even knowing how to do it, but they said you just got to make it happen, and they came through each and every time, representing Terry School. Representing artists in so many different ways that have touched us in very special ways like this evening. Representing artists, Michaela Pilar Brown from 701 Center of Contemporary Art. I remember going to food line and looking down the aisle to make sure it was clear to get my groceries, real quick. But the people that were in that grocery store, those were the front lines as well. Representing the grocery staff, Kaitlin Dia from Lowe's Food. And last, representing emergency medical technicians. I bet they've got a story or two they can share with us. But representing emergency medical technicians, Andrew Fowler from Richland County Emergency Services. All right, hang on just one second.
we can learn to offer praise again, coming home to the light.
Let's hear it again for concert choir. Just inspiring. Well, our event is about to come to an end, and when it does, if you feel comfortable, I hope you'll come forward and introduce yourself to some real-life heroes and some real-life musicians, and we'd love to meet you too. I've learned at least 3 lessons this week, and one is this, that if you're going to present a series of concerts aboard a concert truck, you need to think about the rain. And it turns out, some of you may know, at one of our concerts we got through, last note, and just rainstorm all over. Another one, it was raining through. And yet the show must go on. And check this out. There's going to be another week. There's going to be another Monday, and the sun will come out again. And that will happen for us too. The second thing I learned is that no doubt we live in a community filled with superheroes. No pandemic's going to get us down. We are stronger than that, thanks to beautiful people like we have here. Yeah. And the third thing that I learned was that even superheroes are just human. They still get lonely. They still need love. And so my wish for myself and for everyone is that when we move forward, even in this polarized time of ours and this strange moment of isolation, that we listen a little more carefully, that we look a little bit deeper, and that we open our hearts to our neighbors. You are all superheroes. Thank you. God bless.